Are you overwhelmed by all the tech tools people say you need to run your doula business? What if I told you that you can run your entire business with tools you would probably already use? No fancy software required. Today, I'm sharing the low tech, high impact system that keeps my business running smoothly without overwhelm. Stick with me until the end because I'll also share one tool that you can use to set your schedule, organize your clients, and communicate with your clients all in one place. So, hey, I'm Jariel. I am a birth and overnight postpartum doula. I am a full time doula and I am currently running a 5-figure doula practice. This is a series that I am calling Answer the Call 30 Days to Launch Your Doula Career. And we are on a journey where I am sharing everything you need to build a solid foundation for your doula career. If you're new here, this series is designed to take you from dreaming about becoming a doula to actually launching your career with confidence, clarity, and most importantly, a plan of action. So I really want you guys to go back and to listen to all of the days of this series. But if you don't have the time to do so, then let me just do a quick recap so you know where we've been and where we're going. So, week one was all about getting clear on your commitment to this work. We talked about finding your why. We talked about building emotional resilience to create a burnout proof career. I also gave you 12 types of birth work that you can explore to see which one feels most aligned so you know what lane you want to be in when you step into this industry. So now this week is week two, which I am calling the no gatekeeping week. This week is where we've really taken off to talk about doula training. We talked about building your community. I gave you guys some real talk about pricing your services without the trap of the charging your worth advice that you may have heard online. We also talked about doula business basics, everything from your business bank account to, filing your business legally, the professionals that you need in order to maintain your financials in your business. We yesterday talked about client agreements, which got really great. I gave you guys some places you can go to get contracts. I encouraged you not to turn into Elle Woods and write your own contracts and to stay in your doula lane. And today we are going to talk about how to run your doula business in a low tech way. Now, this is important because I feel like so many doulas get overwhelmed by tech. They're not techie. They describe themselves as people who aren't techie. And we're really in this to serve families, right? And to see families get phenomenal outcomes and to have positive impacts. And we don't really want to get bogged down by the tech, which I totally understand. So I am going to be sharing in this episode just a couple of systems that you can use to run your doula business really smoothly and really easily. These are going to be cost effective, beginner friendly, and pretty much all in one place, right? So let's get into it, right? Let's talk about the system. So the system is actually Google, which is great because I see so many doulas who are all using Gmail. So I know that you guys already have access to Google. If you have not accessed Google Workspace before, when you walk into your Gmail account, there's usually like three little black dots, and they're usually in the form of a square. When you hit those black dots, there'll be a little triangle, a like icon, and that's your Google Workspace. So you already have access to it. It's already there for you. And so you don't have to worry about like trying to do a whole lot of things outside of the Google ecosystem. Google has made so many tools to make it so easy for you, right? So, the first tool that I want to talk about is Google Calendar and scheduling. So, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but Google actually has the availability for you to have a link to your calendar. This is what I want you guys to use when you are setting appointments with clients or when you're setting consultations with potential clients, right? This makes it very, very easy for people to immediately see what your availability is and when they can get on the calendar to speak with you. It makes it simpler than going back and forth via email, right? So somebody inquires, they're like, hey, I'm really excited. I'm having a baby. Would love to talk to you about your birth doula services. You email back, great, sounds good. Like you email them maybe a quick little blurb about like congratulations, And then you can automatically attach your calendar link and let them know, hey, would love to grab a consultation with you in order to talk about your vision for your birth and what you expect from a doula and how I can support you. Just click the link below and schedule. So, really easy peasy, right? And then Google can take over and start sending reminders. I remember I had one doula friend who was so frustrated because she would set consultations and then the person wouldn't show up. And she's like, I canceled this in my life and I rearranged this and I canceled, my kids' karate classes in order to make myself available for this consult. And the person didn't show up. The person didn't show up because they didn't remember. So reminders are very important. So make sure that you are sending reminders and you don't even have to remember to do that if Google is doing it for you, right? So a lot of pluses to using Google Calendar and the calendar link to book. The next system within the Google ecosystem that I feel like is fantastic is the fact that Google has Google Docs, which you can use in order to set up your email templates and so many other things, right? So, first, there's a lot of communication that happens with potential clients, right? So, I have different emails already templated, like the thank you for your inquiry email, right? That's the email that you'll send a million times. Every single time someone fills out the form on the website to say that they want these services, they end up getting an email that says, thank you for your inquiry. And it tells them what's the next steps, which is booking a consultation, right? All roads lead to booking a consultation. Then there's the consult, like follow up email, right? So thank you so much for booking the consultation. I had a great time talking to you about XYZ. Here's the next step, right? And then we want to have like a follow up sequence. Sometimes people don't book right away. Maybe they're interviewing other doulas. So just having some sort of follow up sequence to make sure that after they have completed their interview process, you come back to see who they chose. And if they chose you, then goes to the next one, which is like the welcome email sequence, right? And then also we have the email sequence for checking in, right, throughout our relationship with the client, and then the postpartum email sequence or like follow up, right? So all of those templates are already inside of Google Docs. So I'm just copy and pasting them and just writing in the client's name and kind of rewriting some of the things that would be unique to that person, right? So that's really, really easy to set up in Google Docs one time. ChatGPT can even help you with writing those emails. That way it's not coming like totally from scratch. So that makes it a little bit faster as well. The other thing that Google Docs is really, really great for is drafting up like the welcome packet. So a lot of times doulas will send a welcome packet and they'll say, a little bit about who you are as a doula, a little bit about the services that the client has booked, letting them know what's all included, reminding them of the timeline. Maybe you talk about like your COVID-19 protocol, or you talk about, your policy for keeping yourself, well when you're at the client's house if you're a postpartum doula, and keeping the baby like, safe during RSV and flu season, right? So different pertinent things like that that the client may want to know would go inside the welcome packet. And this welcome packet can totally be created inside of Google Docs, right? So Google Docs is a phenomenal tool within inside of the Google Workspace. The third thing that I want to mention too is about payments, right? So Google Sheets is a system that has templates that you can create an invoice. So as an independent contractor with an agency, I have to send an invoice every 2 weeks to the agency owner, and the template that I use is actually an invoicing template that comes straight out of Google Sheets. So this allows me to give the dates that I worked with a client, the amount of hours, the price per hour, and then to have Google Sheets automatically calculate the total. I can download that and send it in an email through Gmail to the agency owner, right? And you can do the same thing with clients. You can invoice them through Google Sheets, create that PDF with like your business name and logo, the service that they're buying from you, how much the service costs, and then you can go ahead and send that through email to the client. Now, in order to get electronic payment, which is the next piece right after the invoice, you guys can use things like Square, you can use PayPal, you can also use a system called Thrivecart. I do just want to mention that all of the payment software will take some percentage for acting as the financial person in between you and the client. So that's pretty normal. It's also great though because you can do recurring payments. I remember I had a postpartum contract where I billed the person in PayPal and I got paid immediately, even though they ended up financing it through PayPal. So PayPal allowed them to break it up into small pieces. Meanwhile, I got paid in full upfront. Right. So that's a fantastic feature that you can use and another option that you can give clients when it comes to accepting electronic payment and breaking that down so they can kind of buy now and pay later. All right. The thing that I wanted to mention with payment systems that's kind of like a pro tip is that you definitely want to have more than one payment system set up. I did have the experience where a client's family member had ended up paying for the postpartum doula services, so like my PayPal immediately got wrapped up when the client's family member did not remember that they paid for the services and they didn't recognize my business name on their banking. And so they ended up calling the bank to have that payment pulled back from my business, right? So my PayPal was in shambles for a few days. And then once everything was resolved, they went ahead and let my account go. But I didn't want to have any new payments or any new money coming into my account while PayPal and the financial institution of the family were figuring that piece of it out, right? So I actually moved to another system to accept payments while that was being worked out. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you have more than one. Things happen, technology could go down. Maybe you send out something and the client's like, oh my goodness, this won't take my debit card or credit card, which has happened to me before as well. And I had to switch to another payment system in order to resolve that quickly. So just a pro tip. All right. So the next system that's absolutely amazing is going to be Google Forms. So with Google Forms, you can create your client intakes. So, how many people know that when clients say yes, they want you to be their doula, it's good to gather a little bit more information on your client intake form. This will help you remember things like where they're birthing or their address if you're going there as a postpartum doula, who was their provider, what's their due date, if they mention what the baby will be, girl or boy, and the baby's name, or like the dog's name or older kids' names. You can write those sort of things in the notes of your client intake form. You can remember like allergies that the client may have. You can also remember like if they're allergic to any medications or have any medical situations that popped up that are impacting their health. And so the client intake form in Google Forms is like a very, very great way to get all of that information in one place and free. All right. So the next piece, of course, is going to be your Gmail. So let's talk about this really quickly. A lot of doulas have Becky Johnson at gmail.com, right? Or New Moon Birth and Grace Doula at gmail.com. I do want to let you guys know that Gmail can help you with creating a professional email with your company's domain on the end. So you can be Sue at moonandgrace.com. It's really inexpensive to do that. And just wanted to let you guys know that that is a possibility because I'm not sure if people realize that you can actually turn your name at gmail.com into your business URL at the end. And that way, when you're sending it to clients, it just looks a little bit more professional and you stand out a little bit more amongst other doulas. Okay. So I wanted to talk about lastly what you can do in Gmail as far as organizing clients and where they are in your process. So, from inquiry all the way to sign client, there are a few different steps that people go through in the client journey. And once you start to book more and more clients and have more and more inquiries, that can be a little bit hard to track. So, inside of Google Sheets, you can actually create like different categories. Google Sheets is very similar to like Excel, having an Excel spreadsheet, right? It's very similar to that. So, Google Sheets will allow you to have different categories at the top, and you can put things like category 1, inquiries, category 2, consultations scheduled, category 3, consultations completed, category 4, contract sent, right? Category 5, follow up. Category 6, contract signed. And then you can have category 7, deposit paid, 8, services in progress, 9 services completed. And then for 10, you can have like archived or closed contracts for people who like are done with your services or decided to move forward with another doula, right? So when you have these 10 things set up in Google Sheets, you can always keep track of where someone is, right? So you can have their name, email address, their due date, and what services they booked, also where they're planning to deliver. And you can kind of just copy and paste that from the different categories as they move along in your process. And that way you always know, okay, these are all the people that inquire and express interest in my services. So I need to make sure that I'm emailing them. These are all the consultations that I have scheduled. I need to make sure that all of the reminders went out and that clients, potential clients know that these consultations are coming up. If someone canceled or rescheduled, you can make sure to rebook, right? If consultations are completed, then you know, okay, I need to follow up and I need to figure out if this person is going with me or somebody else. And so you can have all of that kind of in your follow up. Maybe a client needed more information, or maybe they needed more time, right? Or maybe they wanted to like get more information from you about your backup doula, right? So you know like how to follow up and what to follow up with. And then if someone signed a contract, then you automatically know, okay, I need to move into my welcome sequence, send out the welcome packet, so on and so forth, right? So that's a good way to kind of keep track and stay organized. That's super easy peasy and simple. And then I wanted to let you guys know that you can also upload documents and store things inside of the Google Workspace as well if you don't want to create in there from scratch, right? Okay. So that's the benefits of using Google Workspace as like kind of like the engine and the hub of your doula business. It's super low tech, it's super simple, it's really, really easy. For today, I just want you guys to locate the Google Workspace that you have. I want you guys to check it out, see all of the things inside of there, play around a little bit. If you have time, maybe even go to YouTube and look up some of the things that maybe you're like, okay, how do I do this? How do I create an invoice? How do I go about setting up Google Sheets, right? You can definitely find awesome YouTube tutorials to help walk you through that. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow, I think that I want to talk about some of the common mistakes that doulas make. I do want to incorporate talking about backup doulas in the episode tomorrow. And tomorrow is actually going to be the end of week 2. That'll be our last day for week 2. So, really excited about that. I wanted to invite you guys to join the waitlist for my group coaching program that will open in January. You guys will have an amazing launch pad after these 30 days, but how many people know that 30 days is not enough? You need community, you need accountability, and you need support as you begin to move forward in your journey. This will be a 3-month coaching program that will be perfect for all of my career girlies that are ready to promote themselves to their calling as doulas. This will be a phenomenal place for us to have back and forth conversations so I can actually get your feedback. I can help you refine the things that you worked on in these 30 days and give you a 90-day plan so that way you can launch your career with the momentum and with the energy that you have from this month, and make sure that you have the clarity and customization to really build something that you feel is aligned with you and your purpose, right? So I'm super excited about that. Check the link in the description in order to sign up for the wait list and get more information. And I will meet you guys back here tomorrow. Bye for now.